Hello and welcome to the OpenLM Extensions webinar. I thank you very much for joining us. I think that we'll just jump right in. So first of all, what are the OpenLM extensions? OpenLM extensions are extended capabilities of the OpenLM system, of the core OpenLM system. Now, we have 11 extensions. Each does something different, and most can be combined together to give you a much better system, to give you a more managerial system, to give you a more automatic system, and basically a system which gives you a lot more information than what the OpenLM Core can give you with its monitoring capabilities. So let's jump right in. First of all, OpenLM is able to group your users and group the usage. Now, what does that mean? Let's say that you have a few departments and you want to group them, or maybe you have a group of users from a certain country and a group of users from another country, and you want them to be in separate groups. So OpenLM can help you do that. It can either help you create those users, both administration and end users. You can create them either manually, or you can also create them using the Active Directory. The OpenLM system is fully synchronized with the Active Directory to synchronize with all your users and groups and hierarchy of them. Now, I'm not going to go into it right now. There is a whole section of the Active Directory synchronization. So, of course, it goes without saying that when a few users are in a group, you can filter that group, you can view that group usage, you can see the total usage time of it, you can see the license usage of it, and you can in fact treat it like a separate organizational unit as it is in real life. Now, you can do the same with the OpenLM project usage, which is another extension that OpenLM has. It gives you much better project accounting. Now, what does that mean? Let's say that you have a project that starts now and it ends in about 2 months. So this project has its own budget. This project has its own resources allocated to it. So you want to know which resources were allocated to the project. For example, if you want to bill different organizational units by usage time, then you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to know which group and how long they were using. As I said before, OpenLM is fully enterprise ready. One of the main capabilities that make OpenLM enterprise ready is the Active Directory synchronization. Most of our clients have Active Directories which hold different users, user information, all the user details, their department, email, phone number, everything. And usually it's stored in groups, one group for Mexico, another group for USA, and so on. So in order to synchronize it, you just need the OpenLM directory synchronization extension, and it simply automatically synchronizes the information, the users. So you won't have to worry about this. You only change the users in your Active Directory, and that's it. And you can keep your user base up to date. So the Active Directory synchronization extension has a few cool features where you can get the hierarchy of the group. Let's say you have a few groups. You have one group for China, and within that group You have one for Beijing, one for another city, and within those cities you have different departments, so you can get all those hierarchical structures of your groups and users to OpenLM, and that structure will stay the same. Also, you can group users by certain attributes. So for example, you can see here, I've grouped a user by department. Users have many different details in the Active Directory. Some can be a phone number, email, but some can be like department or country or something that you can group by. So any custom field that you add, you can also group by it in the OpenLM synchronization extension. Now, the OpenLM License Allocation Manager, what it does, it lets you easily configure option files. Now, what is an option file? Options file is a FlexLM file which allows you to, first of all, group different users. You can exclude or include them from using a certain application, using a certain license. It gives you a better managerial capabilities where you can select for example, this group will have a few 5 licenses reserved, and this group will have 10 licenses reserved. This group exclude completely from using Autodesk. So it gives you a lot of options. And the terrible part about it is if you ever saw an options file, you'd know that it's just a mess. It has everything is textual. You can make many mistakes with the syntax and nothing will work. It's really difficult. It's very, very prone to errors. Now, instead of hiring a guy that knows options file and can create the option file and will do so efficiently and without any errors, on small scale installations, yeah, it's okay. One guy can do it. But on large scale installations, he's bound to have some issues, bound to have some errors, typos, logic issues. So the OpenLM License Allocation Manager allows you to do just that, but without doing it in a text form. You just go on to an interface, as you see here. You just select your user, you select your group, your IP, everything, and you can select to reserve or include or exclude the user, the group, whatever you choose. And the resulting options file you can see on the right here. So this is an options file structure, and I did not write one letter of this. So the allocation manager, the user interface itself, creates the option file. It creates it easily, simply. You just save it, and boom, it creates. You can deploy it straight to the license manager itself, so you don't even need to copy it there. You just deploy, and it deploys automatically. Now, keep in mind that I will show you all the extensions that I'm talking about now. I will show you them in action in a demonstration right after this presentation. So now we'll move on to the Alerts extension, which is the OpenLM notification extension. You can get notified when different criteria are met. Let's say that you have a license which is about to expire in 2 weeks. So you want to get notified about it. You can. Let's say that you have license server which is not responding. You want to get notified. So OpenLM can notify you about it. It can notify you if someone is using for too long, if a license is used too much, meaning the over 90% capacity or something. So it has a lot of different criteria that allow you to customize your notifications and save a lot of maintenance cost because of that. You won't have to hire a guy for that. You can just have many alerts and notifications. The roles and permissions extension is the second thing that makes OpenLM enterprise ready. Because in the organization, there are many different stakeholders. There are the end users that use the application. There's the system admin that wants to know operational data. There's the manager that wants to know just trending data. So everybody has a different there are different stakeholders in the organization that use OpenLM, either directly or not. So the OpenLM roles and permissions extension, it allows you to set different resources to different users or to different groups of users. So for example, I have a group of users in USA, I have a group of users in China, and I have a group of users in Israel. So I don't want everyone to see all the license managers. I just want people from Israel to see the license manager in Israel, from China, the license manager in China, and so on. So you can also do that. Let's say that you want your administrators to be able to see everything, but your end users, you just want them to be able to see the current usage, and that's it. So you can also do that. It allows you to divide the OpenLM user interface into different organizational tiers, as it says here. You can get management, operational, technical. You can have many different resources assigned to different groups or different users. So the next extension is the OpenLM Actual Usage extension. The Actual Usage extension tells you how well your licenses are actually being used. Now, you can see the license usage, you can see the usage duration, but you know if the license was checked out, but you don't know what happened with it. So for example, you can have an engineer that comes in the morning, knows that there's an issue with availability, it just grabs the license, checks it out in the morning, he uses it, doesn't use it that day, doesn't matter, he just automatically pulls it, checks it out, and checks it back in during the evening. So that user did not actually use the application, so he had a lot of idle time. So the actual usage extension will allow you to show and to see who actually is not using. So if you see that someone is using, for example, for more than 10 hours, so you know that he has idle time for more than 10 hours, you know that, well, maybe he's not at work, he's not in the office, or maybe he forgot it open. So you can retract the license, so you can tell him to close it, you can go to his workstation and close it. You could just tell him that that's what he did and he will act accordingly. It gives you more options to monitor your users, the usage, the licenses themselves. So you don't only know when it was checked out, when it was pulled back in, but you can also know what was actually going on with it. You can see the idle periods, you can see how your users actually used it, the license, or if they just abused it. So as you can see here, it will show you recent app idle time, for example. So I have a few users here that's idle for more than 12 hours. They might have gone home already. On the left here, you can see the active and idle periods. So you can see that it was active, it was idle, then active, then idle. So you know what's going on with that user. You can know his behavior and you can change it accordingly. Now, the OpenLM Active Agent acts well with the actual usage extension. And why is that? First of all, the Active Agent, what it does, it allows you to close applications automatically. So let's say that someone forgot his application open and the license is pulled and you need that license. So the Active Agent will allow you to just choose that user and remove his license, close his application. And this frees up the license. Now, if used in conjunction with the OpenLM actual usage extension, then you can set a criteria to automatically close applications when an idle time goes over a certain threshold. So you can say that, well, if a user is using more than 5-6 hours and he has idle time 5 and 6 hours, then close his application. If I'm having a bad time with a certain feature and it goes over 90% capacity, so start releasing licenses where the idle time is more than like an hour or two. So this gives you a lot of playroom to increase your license availability. So when one user pulled the license but is not using it, another user can use that license. So it's just a waste if someone is not using. And this way, users can see what's going on. They see that their application is being closed, and they can watch more in the future because they know that they're being managed. So as you can see here, the active agent will allow you to just close app. On the right here, you see button close app. So you can just do that, and automatically it will be closed. You can do it also using an idle time threshold. So once an application goes over, I don't know, 1 hour, whatever you set, then it will close the application. It will close and save the progress. Now, as you see here, this is a representation of the active agent in action. So you see the Autodesk itself. And after that, we see the notification that pops up that says that the OpenLM agent has recently closed AutoCAD. Now, this was due to the system admin closing the application. The next extension is the App Manager, which first of all allows you to monitor hybrid licensing. Now, what is hybrid licensing? Hybrid licensing means that let's say that you have Autodesk, but for that Autodesk you have some floating licenses, some node-locked licenses, some named licenses, and it's for the same application. So the App Manager will allow you to monitor those hybrid licenses, and also you'll be able to set conditions for using the application. So if we take a look here on the bottom, for example, you can set a condition that, let's take the first one, for example. If the time is after 10 o'clock and the application is Autodesk and the group is a part of USA and the version is 2017, then deny usage. Now, once the usage is denied, it shows up like this. You try to open the Autodesk, try to open the application, and an error message pops up telling you that access denied due to this rule, which is this one, AutoCAD 2017 USA after 10. You can also set the limit, the license limit of this application. Doesn't matter if it's floating license, named license, whatever. And when the license usage tries to go over the limit, when someone tries to pull another license, open the application again, so he will be denied. As you can see here, application cannot be launched, license limit reached. So as you see, it gives you a lot of options when controlling the application. So you can, for example, define a certain application or certain licenses to be allocated to, for example, from 1 to 6, it will belong to USA. So deny everyone else. From 6 to 10, it will be in China. So deny everyone else. So you can set different time zones, you can set different versions that you want them to use. So for example, if you have 2017 AutoCAD and you want your users to stop using 2016, but it's in the same package, so you do have a license for it, you can prevent them from opening any other version. So for example, I said here version equals 2017. So only if the version of the AutoCAD is 2017, then it will allow it to open. OpenLM also allows for external database support, MySQL and SQL Server. This way you get better performance. It supports higher traffic loads. It's much better than the embedded OpenLM database that we give with the evaluation version. And lastly, we have the OpenLM Reporting Hub. Now, if you have some experience with OpenLM, and let's say that you know it for a long while and you've been using it, but the reports that are on OpenLM, they're just not enough. Let's say you want a report of idle time, you want a report of utilization per group, per user, per whatever. You want to go crazy with it. You want custom queries, you want custom reports, you want dashboards. So the OpenLM Reporting Hub allows you to do that. It's exactly for users who are fed up with what OpenLM can offer and want more. So it's a BI solution, which is a business intelligence solution. It's actually a reporting database, which is taken from the OpenLM database. Why is it good to have a reporting database? First of all, most of the data that you want to find in the OpenLM database is not there. It's procedurally generated, it's created on the fly by the OpenLM system. So if you try to access the OpenLM database with custom scripts, you will have a bad time. And if we change a version, if we upgrade the version, the major version, or even the minor version, different columns might disappear or change collation. Different tables might disappear. So the OpenLM Reporting Hub promises that you will have the same structure of database, which is a very intuitive data structure, in all versions of OpenLM. And of course that you will be able to do whatever you want with the data. I will show you this near the end of the demonstration. So as you can see here, this is a dashboard that I created. You can add the license utilization, yearly utilization as a graph, as a heat map, as a bar chart, whatever you'd like. You can add all the filters that you want. It gives you a lot of flexibility, and you pretty much can query your database however you'd like. You can get any data you need. So now I want to go over the demonstration part. So this is the OpenLM system. You probably know this system already. Let me just open this up. Now, let's go over a few extensions that we've shown. Some extensions are not very graphical, so I'm just going to show you I'm just going to show you all the graphical and all the interesting extensions. So first of all, let's start with the option file Allocation Manager extension. So if we go to Start, Report, Options File Management, we get this interface. Now, we can choose the server that we want. We choose the feature that we want, and we can set, first of all, different parameters. So, for example, I want to set linger time of 10. I want max borrow hours of 1, this timeout 1, doesn't matter. I want to add a few users. I want to add Sophia in it. And I want to reserve 2 licenses to Sophia. I can, for example, add Grace. And I want to exclude Grace from pulling this license, from using this application. It can also be done for groups, for hosts, for IPs, whatever you'd like, whatever you need. So once I save it, I click Preview, and you can see all the things I've changed. Borrow is 1, borrow hours 1, timeout 1, linger 10. These reserved licenses for Sophia, for this group, exclude Grace. So you saw it was very easy, and if you see the syntax of the option file, you see it gets very confusing. It's nothing really. If it goes up to thousands and tens of thousands of lines, then it's not something that any person can manage. It's a lot of resources wasted for someone to just do this. The next extension is the Alerts extension, which gives you, as we said, the ability to get notified when certain criteria are met. So these are the conditions, and once a condition is triggered, you can either send an email, send an SMS, run a broker command like start and stop license manager. You can show an easy admin alert. You can just put it in the event log. So the conditions themselves are varied. So you can see that, for example, you can get notified when a licensed server is not responding, or when usage percentage goes over a certain value, or if you got duplicate license usage, or if a license is about to expire in a few days. So, for example, you have a license that's about to expire in here. It's 14 days. It's about to expire in two weeks. Then let me know. You want to get notified. You want to get notified if a user uses, for example, for more than 12 hours, 24 hours. So you want to get notified. And lastly, you can also set the amount of denials threshold for a certain time span. So for example, 1,000 denials in 1 minute, you see that something is seriously wrong, and you need hands-on maintenance now. Something is wrong. Maybe the license server is down, something is up. So this gives you a lot of, this frees you up really from doing a lot of managerial work when it's done automatically, right here. Now you can either get your email, your notification, or you can notify involved users. So for example, I have a user that's using for over 600 minutes. So I want that user to know about it, so he can know about it. The system will automatically send him an email telling him, hey, you've been using more than 6 hours. The next extension that we have is the roles and permissions extension. So here you see many different roles. Let's choose this one, for example. I can add different users to this role. Let's see, I want to add Sophia, Alexis, Emma. You can also add different groups, and you can define the resources that they will be able to use. So for example, you can set permission to add a new user to this role. You can add a permission to view groups. You can deny permission to remove a user from a role. You can, there are a lot of options here from the Easy Admin interface itself, to the data collection, to the data display, and just about anything that you can think of exists here, and you can allow or deny it from certain users or from certain groups of users. Now, what I want to do is move on to the actual usage extension. But first of all, I want to remove what I did here. And I'll save it, and it just cleared everything. Now, when we open an application, I'm just going to put it here. Let's open an application. We opened AutoCAD. Now, I might be using the application, and I might be on Facebook. I might be in a meeting not using the application, or maybe I just pulled it in the morning and refused to put it back until the end of the day. So you want to be able to know who is doing that, because now it's open, but I'm not using it, so someone else can use it. So you can have your floating licenses be much more utilized during the day. So we've opened the application, and the OpenLM actual usage extension will get the idle time for that application. So we'll wait for a moment, and here we see it's changed. We have one used license here. Now this gives you all the details, as you know, username, feature name, everything here, but now we can see recent app idle time. So we see that our application has been idle for like 16 seconds. This is due to the fact that the application is minimized, or its CPU usage is low, under a certain threshold, or it's behind something. Then the application is counted as idle. So that's nice, but if it gets idle, well, what can you do with it? You can close the application if it goes over a certain threshold. So let's say that it goes over a threshold of, I don't know, 10 minutes, then you want to close the application. So you can also do that manually. Let's see the application here. We have it open. And now let's click Close App. Now a message will go to the workstation, and the application will close. So you see, the application just closed with no extra intervention besides either manually clicking and removing the license, or waiting for the idle time threshold to get there and to remove your license and close your application. So you see that I got a message here telling me that the OpenLM agent has recently closed AutoCAD. I can click here, and it resumes my work. It resumes the application. Now this is a very powerful tool. It allows you to automatically generate more utilization to your licenses. It's without buying new licenses, without looking at any graph. You can just set an idle time, and you know that the utilization will go up. So now I want to go over the OpenLM App Manager and its capabilities. If we go to the Administration and App Manager window, we can see that I have two options here. I have Autodesk and pzip. I added pzip just to show you that you can do this on any application. You see that it has a version, a description of the process name, and everything. You can set the return policies, the consumption policies of it. you can do pretty much whatever you'd like regarding the consumption of it. So you can set it to be consumption per process, per workstation, per user or workstation. But the really cool part about it is the rules table, the rules and condition that it can give you. So you see here I have this rule, and I have these if the time is after 10, group includes USA, the version is 2017, the vendor is Autodesk, then deny the application. So let's try that. I'll just remove USA because I'm not a part of the USA team. And I'll try to just open an application. Now the time is after 10. This is the application that I'm taking and from that vendor. So it should deny me from pulling AutoCAD. Boom, you see it denied me from pulling AutoCAD. Application AutoCAD cannot be launched, access denied due to this rule. Once I remove it, I put back the USA, for example, I save it, and when I try to pull the license again, I get a license. I get the application. So you can set different rules, not only for floating licenses, but also for named licenses, for node-locked licenses, for any type of license that you have. So this is a very, very powerful tool. And lastly, I want to go over the Reporting Hub. Now, as we said, the OpenLM Reporting Hub allows you to custom query your database. It can give you the ability to pretty much do whatever you'd like with the data. It can allow you to create, like you're seeing here, a dashboard of license utilization, daily utilization. You can show it over time. You can choose just one and everything else will be filtered out. You can show license quantity above here. You can add any different filter that you'd like. You can do it very simply just by dragging and dropping columns. So let me quickly show you how to create like a new report. Let's say that you want to see all the usage time per user. For example, you just want to see that. So we can just select a bar chart, select user dimension, and within it we get users. Just drag and drop, and we can go to usage dimension and get the usage from it, the usage time. Just drag and drop. And that's it. I can sort it so it will be more like this. So you can see who is using the most and who less. So let's say that I want to see also the groups. So I go to group, I take the group name, just drag it in here. A few modifications, but then I've got the groups and I can drill down. Let's say I want to see what's going on with this group. Which are the users from this group? So I can, if I click here, I can drill down inside and I see all the users from that group. I can do this also for workstation, licenses, license server, license, feature, everything. Now it will give you idle times, raw usage times, whatever OpenLM can get, this will show you. Now the OpenLM Reporting Hub is a very, very useful extension as you can create dashboards such as these and show the data day by day and show the data that you want, like calculated measures, like the license utilization percentage. Where can you get that in the OpenLM, in EasyAdmin? You can't. The OpenLM Reporting Hub allows you to create custom measures which are calculated from other measures. So you can take the the daily quantity and the daily concurrent usage, and you can put them together in a function to give you the, for example, average utilization in percentage. You can also, for example, let me show you. You can show the license usage. You can show the denials. For example, I have on the bottom here the denials by hour. So I see that 9 o'clock is the most denied hour. You can have a heat map of different criteria and different measures like average, maximum level, license quantity, usage duration, idle times, everything. Here even you can see the license duration, the usage duration itself. So this is a very, very useful tool. And as we said, once you create a dashboard, you won't need to change anything about it because the structure of the reporting database that results from the OpenLM database keeps it the same. It stays the same. It's not changed at all. So this is it for my presentation. The OpenLM extensions have a lot of extra capabilities and enhancement that can allow you to increase your utilization, your license utilization. And eventually, if you increase your license utilization and you didn't buy more licenses, you can buy less licenses. So you get a lot more by paying a lot less. So thank you. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm going to be here for like 10 minutes more. Please ask anything that you'd like regarding OpenLM, regarding the presentation that you just saw, any one of the extensions. Feel free.
Hello, Sagi.
Yes.
It's Reuven from SNC Lavalin.
Oh, hello.
I'm wondering if you could give us or give me a quick rundown about the product packages and how that operates.
Product packages?
Yeah.
What do you mean by product packages? You mean feature packages? Yes.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the administration.
Okay, so for example, you mean in the Easy Admin, right? Not in the Reporting Hub.
No, not in the Reporting Hub. In Easy Admin, if you go to administration, there's one thing that says product.
I see.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've been trying to create packages within here, and it's not reflecting in Easy Admin. So I'm just wondering if I'm doing something wrong.
No. It will not reflect. This table is taken from a table that we have in a website, and when you install the OpenLM server, it gets the table and incorporates it. But you can't add anything to the table. You can change, for example, product name, and it will be changed. But you can change vendor, for example, or feature name, or add new ones. Because they will not be incorporated. Now, I know that we do have a feature request open on that because we have some other users also have been asking for the same thing.
Okay, perfect.
Any questions regarding the presentation of the OpenLM extensions?
Not from me, not for now.
Okay. Anyway, if you have any more questions regarding the OpenLM extensions or anything, you can just send an email to support@openlm.com.
Okay.
I will be happy to help you.
Okay. The reporting hub that you mentioned, this extension will create a new database?
Yes, it creates a new database. It's a reporting database which has a structure which is much more logical and has all the information that you want. So it's separated into measures and dimensions. This is how it's done in modern times. We use measures for values that you want to measure, and dimensions like user, groups, licenses, and so on.
Okay. So basically, if I already have an SQL database, because my OpenLM points to an SQL database, I don't use the one that came with it, I'm going to have to create a second SQL database for the reporting hub.
No, it's a Postgres database.
Okay.
The PostgreSQL, it's installed. It can be installed where the OpenLM server is installed, or it can be installed on a dedicated server, whatever you choose.
Okay.
The point is that there is an ETL, which is a data engine that gathers data each night from the OpenLM database, the MySQL OpenLM database, to the Postgres reporting hub.
Okay. So there's a synchronization overnight.
Yes, it gathers like the difference for that day.
Okay.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I will thank you very much and I will bid you a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.